Chris, Green Sabre. Welcome to episode 15 of Doom Telly. And this one, I wouldn't say I was clutching at straws, but I was kind of undecided what I was going to do with it. And then I'd ended up just having a fucking scroll through YouTube one night and discovered, again, probably via John at Rock and Metal Plus, but I discovered a competition that had been run by a great channel that I follow. I've mentioned him before, Beardy Red Viking. If you don't follow him, do so. He's got some great videos on there. I don't think he's done any in a while, but what he has got on there are great. So, yeah. But anyway, I digress. He'd done a video, a competition last November, which was basically to celebrate the fact that a Beardy Red Viking had made it to 125 subscribers. Very well done. However, I think at current count is at 209. Anyway, long story short, the competition that he did was to celebrate 125 subscribers. I appreciate the competition is now closed. I won't win any prizes. If, however, there is a wooden spoon, then hit me up. I'll take anything to go on the trophy cabinet up there. But anyway, but no, I like I say, I appreciate the competition is long gone, but I like the format of it, and I like the questions that he had on there. Essentially, to celebrate 125 subscribers, I had to answer the following questions. Okay, so the first one was, name one band that I love that you would assume that I'd hate. You all know me better than that now. But yeah, so good start, a good first question. The second question, two bands that I hate that you would assume that I'd love, being a metalhead. I've kind of cheated on that one, but anyway, wait and see. And the final one, name 5 albums from the last 5 years that I loved and still love now, and I'm still listening to. And yeah, particularly the last question, but they were all good, but I really liked it, so I thought, fuck it, I know the competition's closed fucking months ago, but I'm going to have a go myself anyway. So anyway, congratulations, Beardy Red Viking, for being on 209 subscribers as we count. I'm currently on 68. It's good. It's good. We need more, though. Tell all your friends. But I'm really happy with that from where we started as such. So, I'm sorry, nearly knocked the camera over there. Right. So, let's crack on. So, actually, no, let's not crack on. Before we start, just a little Green Sabre update, because ultimately that's what this channel is here for. Yeah, rehearsed again last night, getting the set down tight now, and getting one of the new songs pretty much finished. So, we've now got we've now got 3 of the new songs. 2 are good to go. I've just got to tweak the lyrics on them, and then we can go into the studio with them. 1, musically, pretty much good to go. We kind of finished it off last night. Gaz threw in a curveball. We were kind of stuck at a point, not quite knowing where to go near the end of it. And Gaz, as usual, came up with a fucking lightning bolt of genius. And yeah, so we think we've got that finished now, musically. I still need to write some lyrics for it. But so that's 3 down. We've got a title track that I've already got written for it, that we've not gone through yet, but that's going to be a long, epic, majestic piece along the lines of, like, Numb of the last EP. And we've got another brand new one that I've been working on that's just sort of come together really, really good. So, yeah, ultimately, we've got 5 tracks that I reckon in a month or 2 are going to be all but good to go. So, yeah, watch this space. I think we can probably go ahead as an album with 5. We'll still be looking at, yeah, around an hour. So that should be more than enough. So, yeah, anyway, so yeah, just brief update there for you. So let's crack on with the competition. So question 1, a band that I love that you might be surprised that I do. You might assume that I hate. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll have seen half of these. But I love 80s pop music. It's my, I don't call it a guilty pleasure, because it's good. The good stuff, though, I have to fucking qualify that. I'm not talking about fucking all the Stock Aitken Waterman chart shite. No, nonsense. I mean, like, the proper pop stuff. I'm talking about Tears for Fears, Duran Duran, the 80s ska revival stuff, the likes of Madness, Specials, The Beat, that kind of stuff. I loved a lot of the classic 80s pop. So, yeah, an album I've got here. I don't have the debut album yet because I'm still sort of hunting around for a decent, more affordable one. And it's one of them where I want the original, don't want a like 2000s repress of it. I want a 80s version, even if that's like a 3rd or 4th press or whatever it is. But I want an 80s version of it, which this is an 80s version of this one. More specials, the special 2nd album, and for me, arguably just as good as the first one. I mean, you've got Stereotypes on here, the ending track, International Jet Set, which is fucking brilliant. Man at CNA, Enjoy Yourself. There's some fucking great tunes on here, and I love it. And I love all that old British 80s ska stuff that came out. Well, I mean, in reality, it was sort of back end of 1979 that it all started, but yeah. So, like this one, I think this one's from 1979, but they went off in the 80s. But Madness as well. Loved all that. There was the first thing that, like I say, I've explained this in a previous video, but there was the first thing that I really latched onto as a kid, because my uncle was a mod, and he loved all that Northern Soul and the ska stuff and all that. He used to DJ Northern Soul stuff at Wigan Pier, if I remember rightly, my uncle. So, yeah, a little claim to fame there. But yeah, 80s ska stuff, absolutely love it. Again, another band that I've mentioned before, but I don't think I did it justice. Mainly because I got Roland Orzabal's surname wrong for a start on the first video. But yeah, Tears for Fears, my favourite 80s pop group. I just thought the songwriting was absolutely fucking stellar on it. I've only got the first 2. The Hurtin' and Songs from the Big Chair. But they're the best ones for me. I don't have the Seeds of Love album, because for me there's only a couple of tracks that I like on that. The rest of it, I don't know. Was just, I feel like they were just beginning to disappear up their own arse ever so slightly. But yeah, Shout, what a song. Everybody Wants to Rule the World, a bit of a grower, because of course everyone had heard that to fucking death in the 80s, so it was one of, but I really love it now. I love the chord progressions and all that. One of my favourites, Head Over Heels on the B-side. I feel like I can hear the piano intro to that from a film. That, and I can't for the fucking life of me remember where I've heard that piano intro in a film. I feel like it might have been Weird Science or fucking, I don't know, Breakfast Club or something like that. But I've not managed to track it down yet. So any of you eagle-eared types out there, Head Over Heels. What fucking 80s film is that in the soundtrack of? It's not in it long. It's literally just that sort of piano intro and then it goes into something else. But anyway. But yeah, I've waffled on in a bit. They've got a new album out. Well, I say new. It came out last year, or was it the year before? I think it was last year. I can't remember the name of it. It's all right. But I kind of, yeah, these are the killers. And I just fucking love them. I can put them on whenever I'm in that kind of mood. They don't tend to be driving music. I'm always kind of, I must still consider it a guilty pleasure, because I don't tend to play it in the car, because I'm always worried that I'll be stopped at traffic lights and people will be giving me funny looks like, what's he doing listening to that? In fact, I should embrace that more. I should do it more. But yeah, Tears for Fears, a band I fucking love, that you may think, you may be surprised by that. If you've watched my videos, you won't be. Right, anyway, okay. Now, last week's video that I did, which was 10 great metal albums with fatal flaws, I feel like I went a bit Nando's extra spicy on some of my opinions unnecessarily. I sort of watch it back and I think I was unnecessarily harsh with a few of them. I think like Sacred Reich's 31 Flavours and stuff like that, which I still think's a fucking awful song and I can't listen to it. But yeah, I think a lot of my opinions were a bit much. I think I forgot the point that they were still great albums. But so I'm going to rein it in ever so slightly to a degree here. But yeah, the next question is 2 bands that I fucking hate that you would assume that I'd like. Now, the first one that I'll get out of the way, and I don't have any of them in the collection because I don't like them, so I'll probably insert an image around here somewhere. But, and this may surprise a few of you, Overkill. I can't like them. I have tried desperately hard to like them. I think I was initially put off by the first thing I ever heard of them. I feel like it wasn't, I feel like it was the track Elimination or whatever it was, but I feel like I must have heard stuff before that. I must have done. But that's the one that sticks in my mind where I'm thinking, I really don't like that song. I think it was his vocal style that I didn't like. And I felt that, I don't know, it just felt a bit thrash by numbers for me. Now, there'll be a lot of you out there probably watching this shaking your heads thinking, what is he talking about? And when I mentioned it to the band last night, all of them were shaking their heads saying, what are you on about? Overkill are brilliant. Brian loves them. Gaz loves them. I think Rossi even quite likes them to a degree. He's difficult to read though, is Rossi. He's an enigma, he's a mystery. And a great bass player. But anyway, but I've tried, when I was a kid growing up, my mates all had the Fuck You album, and what's the other one where they're all sort of on the front? They look a bit like a hair metal band on the front of it. But anyway, whichever one that is, I just could not get into them, and I still can't now. And I genuinely have tried. There's something about them. I don't know. I think not that I don't like. I mean, like I say, I'm not a huge fan of his vocals, but it's more a kind of that I can't. I feel like there were better bands. I preferred Nuclear Assault. I thought Nuclear Assault were miles better. I thought Death Angel were miles better. I thought Dark Angel were miles better. I thought Zentrix were miles better. There were just loads of other bands that I thought were better than them. So I tried and thought, nah, I'd be trying to get into whichever one it was. I think it was the one that came out in 1989. That might be the one that's got Elimination on it. But yeah, I remember trying to get in it and then just ending up most of the time just putting Handle the Care on by Nuclear Assault because I thought I prefer that, it's heavier. So yeah, Overkill. I've tried. I just can't get into them. Don't be offended by that. I am a moron at times. So yeah. Now the second band isn't a band I've cheated here because I couldn't decide on them. And it's a genre that I fucking hate, that a lot of people would assume that I'd like. Not you lot with discernible taste that are watching this, but other people that aren't into metal a lot of the time assume that I'd like it and stuff like that. Metalcore. I think it's metalcore, whatever they fucking call it anyway at the time. It is absolute fucking garbage. Just garbage, and I will not hear otherwise. Now, I'm talking about, I might have got the wrong genre, but whichever genre these fucking lot are, that's what I hate. Five Finger Death Punch. Fucking hell. For me, if you like Five Finger Death Punch, I think you've had a suspected aneurysm, so you should go and check it out. Who's the other bands? Bring Me the Horizon. Fucking shite. Parkway Drive. Shite. Disturbed. Shite. If I hear one more time of some non-metaler saying, have you heard Disturbed's cover version of Sound of Silence? It's really good. It's haunting. I don't care. It's shite. Good for you. You go and listen to it. Yeah, Disturbed. Fucking bollocks. I've just put all that shit after that. So that was the last band that I could be bothered thinking about. Bullet for My Valentine's, another one that I've never fucking liked, and everyone sort of goes on about. Trivium, I've never really liked. I feel that they've got a bit more kudos about them though. But nah, I'm just not a fan. But no, metalcore, whatever the fuck it is, it's just... I hate all that fucking choreographed headbanging shite that they all do, where they all sort of like get in a squat position, and then all headbang at the set. It looks fucking ridiculous. You look ridiculous. Stop doing it. All those horrendous MTV poppy choruses. I'm all for a hook. Nothing wrong with a hook. I've just shown you 80s pop that I like and stuff like that. But a proper hook. Don't give it all that gent shite and then go into an MTV fucking chorus. Just admit that you like shite pop music and run with it. I won't feel bad for you about that. Just admit that you like pop music. Stop trying to spill over into the metal scene. Because it's unnecessary and I just do not like it. So yeah, I hate that shite. I know that's not technically a band, it's a whole fucking subgenre, but no, it's awful. I liken it. If I'm gonna, just sort of sympathise for a bit. I remember when I first got into metal and I first went to a metal nightclub in Morecambe that was called The Gardens, the greatest metal nightclub that ever existed. No longer there, hasn't been there for years, but fucking hell, what a place. Anyway, I remember when I used to go there as a kid and we'd wait all night for DJ to put the fucking 10 minutes of Slayer and Metallica on and that kind of stuff, and dive up onto the dance floor and air guitar it. But I remember all the old school there with their AC/DC t-shirts on and the Zeppelin and the Sabre and all that sort of like, what's all that fucking noisy shite that you're listening to? Every generation has it. I appreciate now that I'm an older guy and I don't understand youth culture and I don't understand why the youth listen to this insipid bollocks. Because it's just garbage. Like Five Finger Death Punch. It's like the fucking propaganda arm for the fucking US Marines. It's just absolute fucking garbage. All of it. But yeah, let's not go any further on that one. So, I hate metalcore. Yeah, it's generally people that don't like metal that just assume that you like that. Like, oh yeah, you're into fucking, yeah, Disturbed. No, I'm not. You listen to it and enjoy it. Final question. 5 albums that from the last 5 years, key point, that I love and that I still love. Now, the first one I'm going to mention was mentioned by Beardy Red Viking on his video when he was picking his 5. And it's this one. It's Mastodon's Emperor of Sand. An album that some people would say was one of their weaker ones. Wrong. But, you know, we can't all be right. There's reasons for this one. And I've got personal reasons for... I think it's great. I think there are some brilliant songs. And I prefer Mastodon's move to prog. Some of my favourite Mastodon albums are the later ones. I think Once More Around the Sun's a great album. I think this one's a great album. I think the recent one, Hushed and Grim's a great album. I think Hushed and Grim is a little overlong. I think they could have maybe trimmed 4 tracks off of it, done another EP like the Cold Dark Place EP that they did, and just trimmed it down and made it a little more concise. I think that's Hushed and Grim's only downside, is that it's overlong. But anyway, I'm talking about this album. And the reason that I love this is that I loved it straight away when it come out. I've got the press here that's Roots Remains called Eons. But Roots Remains a great track. The opening track, Sultan's Curse, is a great one. I even like Show Yourself to a point. There's fucking Precious Stones, Steam Breather. What's it called? Ancient Kingdom. Scorpion Breath. Clandestiny's another great song. But for me, the absolute stellar standout track on here is the last one, Jaguar God. And Brent Hines kind of went turbo on this album. He's always been an amazing soloist, but on this album, fucking hell, his solos are just out of this world, and the solo on Jaguar God is just gut-wrenchingly fucking amazing. It's brilliant. The other reason that I like this is for personal reasons, and it was when it came out in 2017. Later on that year, we got... I mean, I'm not going to go into a story like on fucking Pop Idol, where before I go into a song, I'm about to tell you that my Uncle Vinny fucking spontaneously combusted in PC World or something like that. No. I'm not trying to garner sympathy, but it was... Back in the... we discovered... Anyway, long story short, we discovered that my dad had terminal cancer as such, like, long time in coming. His hobbies and interests were drinking and smoking, so it never ends well, usually. But anyway, this album resonated me with, because it's a concept album about fucking cancer, essentially, and death. And it really resonated with me at the time. And I remember the last Christmas I spent... My dad died in January 2018, and I went to see him that Christmas, the Christmas of 2017, and I bought him this on CD. I also bought him a copy of, I think it was Return to Forever or something like that, one of his favourite albums, that I got him on CD. And I got him this as well on CD. I knew that he probably wouldn't listen to it, but it was my way of saying that, with the Return to Forever one first, give him that first, like, this is the music that you passed on to me and I've embraced and I love. And this is the music that I'm into, that I want to pass on to you, that I want you to embrace and love. Maybe you didn't, but it was the symbolic nature of it that sort of like... So, yeah. And anyway, besides all that fucking stuff, this is still a great album. So, yeah, I love modern Mastodon. I think they're really... I love older Mastodon, of course, but I like everything they've done. And this is a great album and a great case in point. Okay, number 4. And it's this. I've shown this before in a recent video. Aklis and their Melano album. from 2020, I believe. That Mastodon one just counted 2017, so that was 5 years if I'm judging it off of 2022 when this competition happened. Anyway, this is from 2020, and this is an absolutely fucking stunning piece of modern black metal from the US. And it's just, I won't go into too much detail. I went into too much detail on the Mastodon one, but it's just an absolute fucking ripper. It's Achilles' best album comfortably. It's a great, great modern black metal album. One of the great ones. And I still listen to it now. I listened to it to death when it came out. I was a bit late getting the vinyl. I had the MP3 for ages. And again, I think that was off of an Instagram recommendation from someone that I follow. And it was like, oh, right, I'll check that out. And yeah, I was not disappointed. Fucking fabulous. I'd already dived back into black metal at that point, but I will explain that shortly with what's coming up. So yeah, Achilles, Melano, great album. Okay, right. Number 3, Yob's Our Raw Hearts from 2018, I believe. And yeah, the album that had just come out when I got into Yob. They were one of them. I was diving back into doom metal at the time, and it was when I was trying to start up Green Sabre, and I was thinking nobody's really playing what I want to hear. As I've explained several times, that's because I was out of touch with the scene, and there were lots of bands that were playing what I wanted to hear, which I've since discovered. But this was one of the tipping point ones where it was like, fucking hell, this band is great. I bought this album. I got it from Crash Records in Leeds, and I think it's the purple vinyl one. It's quite expensive because it was an import, but it was one of them where I looked at it for a week and thought, I have to have it, yeah. So I went back. I think it was like 36 quid, something like that, but well worth it. It's had well worth its fucking rotations. And a seminal doom record from a modern doom record from a seminal modern doom band. Yob are just fantastic. This album is fantastic. And one of them that crosses the boundaries. It's kind of non-metalers have enjoyed this album as well. Not their heaviest piece, which is probably why non-metalers related to it a little more. But there's some stunningly heavy bits on here. Yob, Our Raw Hearts, number 3. Fantastic. Oh, shit, my barcode's just come off. Anyway. Stick that back on later. Let's just put it in the pouch. There we go. Right. Okay, number 2. Deaf Heaven's Infinite Granite. I love Deaf Heaven, and I got into a few months before this album came out. This album came out kind of early spring 2021 approximately, I feel like, something like that. And I got into them off of the Ordinary Corrupt Human Love album, the one before this. I think it's the one before this, and Sunbather, of course. And they were the ones that I really loved, and I love that kind of, is it called black gaze? I feel like it needs a better subgenre title, but a black and shoegaze, whatever you want to call it. There are elements of that, but obviously the majority of it, and all the guys' vocals were black metal shrieks. He's gone clean on this album, and there's a lot of clean, and there's a lot of almost Stone Roses-esque indie vibe on this. But the black metal bits, when they do come in, are fucking brilliant, and even more effective, because they're so limited on this record. But I just love it. There's not a bad track on it. I've played it to death since it come out. I still play it now. It's still my favourite Deaf Heaven album. If I'm going to pick one, then maybe Sunbather. But it's just incredible. Love it. Loved it then. Love it now. Deaf Heaven, Infinite Granite. And finally, I'm going to discuss this band, Winter Filleth, and the album in question, The Reckoning Dawn. Their last album, as we speak, came out 2020. And the band and album responsible for making me fall down the current black metal rabbit hole that I have disappeared down. I'm listening to predominantly black metal and doom at the moment. That is pretty much it. And these guys are responsible for that. I discovered them, as I've said on a previous video, I discovered them via the Damnation Festival forum months before Damnation 2021, the last one that happened at Leeds University. And they were due, at that point, I was looking at the lineup thinking, right, I'm going to go see them. who are these other bands that I don't really know about? Who should I go and watch? And the ones that was getting the most fucking traction in comments were like, Winterfilleth, you need to go and see Winterfilleth. As it turned out, I fucking missed them. I didn't move soon enough and I couldn't get in the tiny room that they were playing at 2021. But I've seen them twice since and they're a fucking great band, and whenever they play, I'm certainly going to be making an effort to go and see them from now on. They're a sensational band. All their albums are good. This one's brilliant. I think The Dark Hereafter might be my favourite of theirs, but this one's a fucking awesome record. There's so many great tracks on it, and yeah, and they're responsible for getting me back into the black metal thing. It was from listening to Winterfilleth and getting back into that, and then pulling out the Emperor record and blah blah, that I got into Achilles that I mentioned before, that I discovered all them. What I have discovered since, and by no means connected with Winterfilleth or Achilles and stuff like that, it reminded me of the pitfalls of black metal in some way, is that there are a lot of suspect political opinions in black metal, with black metal bands. Not all of them, as I say, not Winterfilleth. I mean, I know that Achilles got a little muddy with them, but from what I've read and what I can discern, I don't think it's of Achilles' problem. I think it was guilty by association by a lot of the point. And people have differing political opinions. We have to remember that. Now, I'm not going to get too sort of bogged down in this, but yeah, I'm really into the Hate Forest album at the minute, and I'm hearing bad things about that. I think it's one of the guys from Judka. I'm hearing bad things about National Socialist leanings, and yeah, and other stuff. Like, I really like Magua. All these bands that I've gotten into over the last 2 years, down the black metal rabbit hole, and it's one of them where I can just, if the music's great, I'll listen to it. I don't have to agree with their political leanings, but sometimes it's more difficult. The bands that are more overtly National Socialist, they might do great music and I might like listening to it, but the way that my stance on that is that I'm not going to buy merch. I'm not going to help fund their fairly awful political leanings. But a lot of it is, I think a lot of it has been this kind of shut down, the cancel culture thing with a lot of bands. And I know that Winterfilleth got fucking pulled into that absolutely unnecessarily. And yeah, but anyway, I've kind of gone off topic there slightly. But yeah, the black metal rabbit hole that I've gone down, which I'm absolutely fucking loving at the minute, has brought up a few kind of, just a few moments where you kind of, some bands' political leanings don't sit right with me, but I can still listen to them. So I suppose it's that's the moral line that I take with it. I don't have to agree with it, but hey, we don't have to cancel people either just because we don't agree with where they sit. I often get, from some of my older friends from back in the day, often call me the bleeding heart liberal of the gang, or the fucking loopy lefty type. And yeah, I probably lean more that way. But this is not the time or the place to go into that anyway. But I don't shut down my friends that aren't either, because that's not healthy. We need to promote discussion on these things. And yeah, that's another thing that I love about this black metal thing, that it's really got me talking. So I thank Winterfilleth, The Reckoning Dawn, for being the catalyst album to get me back into the black metal stuff and discover bands like Magua, like fucking Bloodhouse Nord, like Achilles, and a lot of the modern, like Abduction, great UK black metal band, and all them things, for making me discover all these. So yeah, that is why I decided to choose as number one of the 5 albums from the last 5 years that I still love, and have had a really profound effect on me. So I'm looking forward to continuing to dig down into that black metal rabbit hole and try and avoid the few landmines that are in there and various things and stuff like that. But yeah, so that is that. We're nearly at half an hour, so I'll wrap it up quickly. Like and subscribe as usual. In the comments, if you'd like me to you can think of something that you'd like me to discuss. There's a guy, I've forgotten his name. Altars of Madness. There's a channel that I've been watching a lot of recently. I found him via the metal tag. And I love his videos, and he did one about like his battle jacket and stuff where he's on about all the patches where they come from, and he does really great watchable videos. So if you don't know about Altars of Madness, I'll put his link in the description. I'll put my mate Kev as well, that I was meant to mention before, and I don't think I went into detail when I was fucking rounding on metalcore. My mate Kev from Lancaster, he's got a YouTube channel called FYM Productions. I think it used to be FYM Reacts, FYM Productions. He loves all that metalcore stuff. I don't think there's one video that he's put on that I like. I just find the music horrendous. But he's so passionate about it. He's a great presenter. He's got a great eye for a video as well. And his channel's doing really, really well. FYM Productions. I think he's got like over 12,000 subscribers. If you like watching passionate fucking reactions to metalcore stuff, essentially, but I can watch it because it's Kev, my mate. Check him out. Like I say, I'll put a link in the info down below. But yeah, he loves all that metalcore shite, and he's very passionate about it. But yeah, great channel. Thumbs up to Kev. Yeah. So yeah, if you can think of any other subjects that you'd like me to talk about, put them in the comments, and it'll give me an idea. I've got a few kind of lined up for the next few weeks. So, yeah. And then after that, I might be clutching at straws. So, yeah. I need more competitions. So, thank you, Beady Red Viking, for this competition from last November that I missed, but I've decided to do now anyway. Yeah, if there's any booby prizes, I'm happy to accept. So, yeah, that is that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back this time next week, approximately, something like that. So, until then, see you later, guys. Thank you.